Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 7 math and then click on view. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter proportional relationships. The lessons we're going to cover today are: find the constant of proportionality from a table. Identify graphs of proportional relationships. Find the constant of proportionality from a graph. Write equations for proportional relationships. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I'm on grade 7 math. The chapter we're on right now is proportional relationships. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is find the constant of proportionality from a table. The table shows how the number of cookies Trisha can bake is related to the amount of flour she has. So, cookies baked, scoops of flour used, and cookies. So, 2 scoops of flour used, and that makes 10 cookies. And with 3 cup of flour, 15 cookies can made. How many cookies can be made with 1 scoop of flour? So that is with 2 scoops of flour and 3 scoops of flour. You need to find the cookies can be made using 1 scoop of flour, right? So proportional quantities have a constant ratio, right? The constant ratio is called the constant of variation. The constant of variation often represents the rate or a cost. So how do you find the constant of variation? You need to divide cookies by scoops of flour. You have to do y over x to find the constant of variation. So when you do 10 over 2, that makes 5. When you do 15 over 3, that makes 5. That is the constant of variation. Got it? So that means from 1 scoop of flour can make 5 cookies. The correct option is 5. Let's just start with the test questions. The table shows how the total pages of notes in Linda's notebook depends on the number of hours she spends in class. So you are given the pages of notes, times in class is X hours, and number of pages are Y. So how many pages of notes does Linda take during an hour of class? So you have to find a constant of variation. So you have to calculate the constant of variation. The constant of variation you can calculate by y by x for each value, right? So you have to do y over x for the first value, that is 12 over 12, and for the second value, that is 15 over 15. For so they both have the answer 1. So that means Linda take the notes Linda take during an hour of class is 1 page. The correct option is 1 page. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? That is 1 page. Okay, the next one is this table shows how the amount Mike earns from yard work depends on the number of hour he work. How much money does Mike earn per hour? So which is the correct option? You need to calculate the money he earns per hour. So basically you have to calculate the constant of variation. So you can calculate the constant of variation by y by x, right? So that would be 12 over 2 and 18 over 3. So that is 2 times 6 is 12 and 3 times 6 is 18. So that means $6 it is. That means Mike earned $6 per hour. The correct option is 6 hours. Option number 2 is the correct option. This table shows how the total number of postcards Seema buy is related to the number of days she depends on vacation. How many postcards does Seema buy during 1 day of vacation? So you have to calculate the constant of variation, that is y by x. So y is 8 over 4, and for the second one that is 14 over 7. 4 times 2 is 8 and 7 times 2 is 14. So that is 2 postcards. The correct option is 2 postcards. The correct option is 2 postcards. Option number 2 is the correct option. The next one is this table shows how the number of cookies Trisha can bake is related to the amount of flour she has. So how many cookies can be made with 1 scoop of flour, which is the correct option? You have to do y by x, right? So y by x is 10 over 2 and 15 over 3. So which is the correct option? That is 2 times 5 is 10 and 3 times 5 is 15. The correct option is 5 cookies. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. This table shows how the cost of Joel's retirement party depends on the number of guests. What is the cost per guest? So, which is the correct option? That is 12 divided by 4 and 15 divided by 5. So, which is the correct option? Very good. $3 it is. That means the cost per dollar is cost per guest is $3, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify graphs of proportional relationships. Let's just start with the lesson. This equation describes a relationship between x and y. Y equals 6x. Complete the table and select the graph that shows this relationship. So you have to complete the table first, right? The equation is y equals 6x. So let's just complete the table first. Here you have y equals 6x and here you have y equals 4x. Okay, so that is y equals 4x, right? Let's just complete the value first. That is y equals 4x. Put the values of x and calculate the values of y. X equals 1. So just replace the x with 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. So that is 4, right? For the x equals 2, replace x with 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So the second value is 8. So basically they are the ordered pair x and y, right? Like this you have 0, 0, that is 1 and 4, 2 and 8, and 3 and 12. They are the ordered pairs, right? These are the x values, the first values, and the second values are y values. So now the table is complete. You have to draw the so how do you draw the graph? You have to plot this table of values on the graph 0, 0. X is 0, y is 0. That is the origin. The next one is x is 1, y is 4. So here is x equals 1 and y equals 4, right? So here is the point for x equals 1 and 4. Then 2 and 8. Here is 2 and here is 8. Then x is 3 and y is 12. So just join these points and make a line. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Let's see how do we complete the table and plot the graph. This equation describes the relationship between x and y equals 2x. Complete the table and select the graph that shows this relationship. Okay, you have to complete the table, the graphs are given, then you have to see which is the correct option, right? So y equals 2x, the relationship is y equals 2x. Let's just complete the table first. You have to calculate for x equals 2. So just replace x with 2 in the equation. So 2 times 2 is 4. So when x equals 2, y equals 4. So now for x equals to 3, you have to do 2 times 3 is 6. So here is the table of values, that is 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 6. Match this table with the first value 0, 0. Here is 0, 0. X is 1, y is 2. So here is 1 and 2, right? X is 1, y is 2. And then x is 2, y is 4. And then when x is 3, y is 6. So that is the correct option, right? Because all the points on the graph match with the table of values. So the correct option is option number 1. The correct option is option number 1. This equation describes the relationship between x and y equals 4x. Complete the table and select the graph that shows this relationship. Y equals 4x. X equals 1, right? So replace the x with 1 in the equation. 4 times 1 is 4. Option number 1 is, so that is 4, right? Now look at the second one, x equals 2. So 4 times 2, that is 8. So here you have 8. So just match this table of value with this graph. 0, 0, x is 1, y is 4, x is 2, y is 8, and then x is 3, y is 12. Yes, that is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. This equation shows y equals 3x. Describe the a relationship between x and y. Y equals 3x. Complete the table and select the graph that shows this relationship. So which is the correct option? That is y equals 3x. So x equals to 3 times 2 is 6. So here you have 6. X equals 4. 3 times 4. The correct option is 12. So 12 it is. So just match this table of values with the graph. 0, 0 is not in the graph, right? 1, 3, let me 1, 3, 2, 6, and 4, 12. Let's just match with the second graph because they are are not matching with the first one, right? So 1, 3. X is 1, Y is 1, 3, 2, 6. Option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is option number 1. This equation describes a relationship between x and y. Y equals 5x. That is y equals 5x. That is 5 times 2. The correct option is 10. And x equals 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. So here you have 10 and here you have 15. 0, 0. X is 1, y is 5. X is 2, y is 10. And x is 3, y is 15. Option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is option number 1. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. Find the constant of proportionality from a graph. Let's just start with the next lesson. The graph shows how the cost of a charity gala depends on the number of attendees. What is the constant of variation? Basically, the constant of variation and the slope is exactly same, right? You have to see change in y divided by change in x. So you can select any 2 points on the graph and you can calculate change in y divided by change in x, right? Like here you have a point 0, 0 on the graph and here you have another point that is 10 and 50. So use these coordinates and find the slope that is 0, 0, 10, 50. So you have to calculate change in y divided by x. So y is 50 minus 0 and 10 minus 0. So that means the slope or the constant of variation is 5. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. This graph shows how the amount of dough Jonathan has prepared is related to the number of hours he has spent working at the bakery. What is the constant of variation? So you have to calculate the slope of the graph. Just select any 2 points. Here is the first one and here is the second one, right? The coordinates for the first is 0, 0 and the coordinates for the second one is 2 and 4. X is 2, Y is 4. Just calculate the slope. So the slope is 4 minus 0 divided by 2 minus 0. So that is 4 over 2. So 4 over 2 is 2. So that means the slope of this graph is the constant of variation of this graph is 2. That is 2 kilograms per hour. Got it? Okay, let's just move on to next one. This graph shows how the amount Sam earns from yard work depends on the number of hours he work. What is the constant of variation? So let's just select any 2 points on the graph and calculate the slope. So the first one has the coordinate 0, 0. The second one has the coordinate 10, 50. So the slope is 50 minus 0. These are the x coordinates and these are the y coordinates. So you have to do change in y divided by change in x. So 1050 minus 0 divided by 10 minus 0, that is 50 over 10. The correct option is 5. So that is $5 per hour. The correct option is $5 per hour. The correct option is option number 2, that is $5 per hour. This graph shows how the number of plants Wesley can have in the backyard is related to the number of seeds packet he purchases. What is the constant of variation? So you have to select 2 points on the graph, that is 0, 0 and 20, 50. So the constant of variation is 50 over 20, that is 2.5. The correct option is 2.5. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 2.5 plants per seed packet. This graph shows how the total pages of notes in Alan's notebook depend on the number of hours she spent in class. What is the constant of variation? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 1.5 pages per hour. Very good. Option number 1 is the correct option. This graph shows how the distance Akash has cycled depends on the number of trips he has taken to work. The correct option is that is 3 kilometers per trip. Very good. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is write equations of proportionality, write equations for proportional relationships. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So you are given the table, right? You have to see complete the equation, right? So that is the linear equation. Linear equations in the form y equals mx plus b, right? So you have to calculate the m. Let's just look at the table that every time the x terms goes up by 1. You can just see here 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. 0 plus 7 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14, 17, 14 plus 7 is 21. So x values go by up by 1 and y values go by up by 7, right? So you can calculate the value of b by using any pair of x and y. So y equals mx, the slope is 7, right? Change in y is 7, 7 over 1. Change in y divided by change in x is slope. So 7 over 1 is 7, slope is 7. And use the value x is 0, y is 0 and calculate the value of b. b is also 0. So the equation is y equals 7x. Let's just start with the test questions. Find the value, fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So let's just see what is the value of m and b, right? We have to use this equation y equals mx plus b. We need to calculate m and b, right? So let's just see how x and y are changing. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. 5 plus 5 makes 10, 10 plus 5 makes 15, and 15 plus 5 makes 20. So change in y divided by change in x. So that is 5 over 1 equals 5. So just use any pair of x and y and calculate b. So y is let's just use this one. Y is 5, m is 5, x is 1 plus b. So that is 5 equals 5 plus b. So b equals 5 minus 5. So b equals 0. So that means y equals 5x. Option number 2 is the correct option. The correct option is option number 2, that is y equals 5x. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So which is the correct option? The correct option is, let's just see the calculate the slope, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4, right? Now let's just see the change in y. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So the slope is y equals 2 divided by 1. The slope is 2, right? So that means the correct option is y equals 2x, and obviously b would be 0. The correct option is y equals 2x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule of this table. So which is the correct option? The correct option is y equals 9x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So which is the correct option? The correct option is option number 1, that is y equals 24x. Option number 1 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So which is the correct option? That is y equals 16x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. The chapter we were working on is proportional relationships, and the lessons we have covered today are find the constant of proportionality from a table, identify graphs of proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality from a graph, write equations for proportional relationships. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the questions in the chat box. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.